Hey, now I see everybody.
All right.
Good job, Amy. Click, just keep clicking.
All right, with the owl working, I'll call to order the Board of Library Trustees, our meeting for 21 March 2023. And Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Yes. Galata? Here. Beechman?
Here.
Ford? Here. Hubbard?
Here.
Larson? Russo?
Here.
Asano? Here.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And Catherine, would you lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on with our agenda, number 4, comments from the audience. Would anyone here like to talk to the board or anyone online? And George, we didn't get any notices from anybody? Okay. All right, then moving on. Number 5 is the consent agenda. And the consent agenda consists of the minutes for the closed session for Tuesday, 21 April 2020, and the minutes from the regular meeting for Tuesday, 21 February 2023. Also in the consent agenda is the expenditures cash disbursement detail report for February 2023. And in other action items, we have 1, a resolution adopting a policy on bereavement leave, Resolution 2023-03, and another, a resolution temporarily suspending the organizational identity initiative. This is Resolution 2023-04, and all of these items were discussed at the COW meeting earlier in this month. Would someone like to have anything pulled from the consent agenda or make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Mary Ann and a second.
I'll second.
Second by Christie. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, what's your question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Sure. Galata?
Aye.
Beechman?
Aye.
Ford?
Aye.
Hubbard?
Aye.
Larson? Russo?
Aye.
Asano? Aye.
And it's approved then. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Thank you, Catherine. And a second?
I'll second.
Second, Andrew. Any discussion? Then this can be a voice vote, folks. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And the agenda is approved. Number 7, financial reports for February 2023.
Joe?
Don't we have any specific comments, unless there are questions, any specific items?
Joe, just could you briefly say what's ahead for us with the budget?
So the budget process begins hopefully this week when they post in King County the taxes. You know, that's kind of the start of the process. There's a document you'll see in April on budget guidelines, and that would be the basis for our developing the budget for your review and then approval, hopefully, in the month of May.
Any questions for Joe? Thank you, Joe. Number 8 then, the President's Report. And for everyone here, this will be a very short meeting, though we will go into closed session later, and we are not expecting to act on anything after that closed session. But for the President's Report, I'd like to just again mention that Nominations for the Library Leader Award are due April 17th. So if you go to the library's website, right on the front page, there's a nice link there, and that'll explain more about the Library Leader Award, and we've been talking about it at several of our meetings. And then the other thing that I would just like to mention, and I'm sure Joanne was going to mention this too, and it's in her report, but Joanne Arrett has served the library since 1994. Pardon?
there.
I'm sorry,
Ruth.
Ruth
Ruth
Arrett,
Arrett,
thank
yeah.
you. And, you know, that's certainly a nice commitment to the library, and I know she's seen kids grown into adults in that time, so that's very exciting, and we wish her well. Number 9, good news or comments from the board?
I have the good news about the formal dresses that were given away Saturday. My husband and I drove to the library and we forgot about what it was, and we couldn't find a parking place. There was just so many people. I took a picture in the hallway, it was just full, they're lined up. And I don't know if you want to see it, but it was just so cool. So Kathy said there were 40 different schools and 9 different organizations and 830 dresses given away.
Wow.
Friday evening, or Friday late afternoon, 3 to 5, there was a sneak preview for Batavia High School only. So
Oh.
to give our community the first shot at it.
Also, I think I mentioned the Friends of the Library, they were going to go credit card on their first sale, which was last Saturday. Anyway, they did $1,600 on Saturday, which normally is around
$1,100-$1,200, so.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Well, I'd like to say that we contributed to that $1,600 because we brought our 2 little grandkids with us, and it was packed in there. And it just was so wonderful to see so many people with stacks and stacks of books, and it's such a great opportunity for everybody, you know, it really is. And so we took home some books on trucks.
I stopped in the library Saturday, forgetting that there was the prom dress. I've never seen so many excited, perhaps I should say giddy, young ladies. But there was a wonderful array of dresses. I was saddened that I wasn't going to the prom. But there was a lot of great dresses. The kids were excited. They were trying on back and forth. Moms were happy. I think everybody got what they wanted.
Great.
So it's a great mother-daughter event.
It was, yeah, it really was.
Mother.
So I think it was a really well done.
Thank you. Our partners in this, and really the lead agency in this, is Chip In Batavia, which
Yeah.
does a wonderful job. Joanne and Melinda
Yes.
lead that organization and do just such a great job. And the staff here at the library, particularly the Facility Services Department under the leadership of Kathy Moker, worked endlessly to get everything set up. And as you may recall, we had a rack across from the checkout desk, so sometimes we'd see people come in with 3 to 5 to 6 dresses in their arms to donate those. And there were shoes,
Yep.
so many shoes and accessories, and
Yep.
it was a very fun event, very fun event. And if you needed to use the ladies' room that day, it was really rough because there were, while they have a slew of changing rooms that they set up in the one half of the founder's room, it was not nearly enough. And so all the stalls, and I understand just a lot of changing going on.
Yes, there was.
So with mothers holding the dresses and the girls, you know, so it was just, it's a fun event. I mean, it really,
Yeah, it was.
it shows the community a different side, I think, of the library, which I think is a very exciting thing for us to do.
And Kathy, I'm sure that's not part of your regular routine, but how nice that people feel welcome and have such a good day. So thank you for all your extra work on that.
A lot of fun.
Thank you, Kat.
Well, there's another, what is it, 4 or 6 boxes that we've got set aside for a total middle school that the school requested us to set aside till they could come and pick them up this week sometime. So a lot of the short dresses for 8th grade dances and things like that.
Somebody mentioned that to me. Short dresses would go to the middle school.
I've got something, Dana.
Sure.
Just a reminder that in the meeting, 2 meetings from now, in May, is the biennial transition meeting for the board. So the 3 incumbents who will be reelected on April 4th will be sworn in at that meeting, and the board will elect officers and such. And I guess at some point, the president needs to appoint a nominations committee in advance of that time. But yep, another transition for the board, but a very smooth one because it's all the same people.
Right, thank you, George. Any other comments? Then, moving on, number 11, directors and librarians reports.
Well, I should say we had correspondence before that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But there is one item of correspondence I wanted to point out. For the trustees, there's a seminar on the Illinois Open Meetings Act scheduled for Thursday, April 20th. So if you want to learn even more than you want to know about the Open Meetings Act, Leah Bartlett, the public access counselor for the Attorney General's office, will be doing that presentation. And I don't know that there's a fee, but if there is a fee...
It's free.
It is free, yeah. If there was a fee, the library would pay that for the trustees that want to participate.
Okay. Number 11 then, directors and librarians reports.
The report is in your packet. The written report is in your packet. And we've sent out a notice to you already about the Inspire Awards event from the Chamber of Commerce is coming up on April 27th. And right the Saturday after that is the Friends annual meeting that Saturday. So that, if you don't have that on your calendar, put that on your calendar as well. And Stacy could not be with us this evening, but I know that Joanne is here, and I'm sure she's got some things to tell you about.
I do. Thank you. Well, at the end of February, we ended Winter Library Club and had over 120 children in that. It's a very different club from summer, and it's hard sometimes to get in there amongst all that schoolwork that's going on, but we change it up a little bit, and so we are very happy with that. And once again, our friends of the library are a great supporter of Winter Library Club. During the summertime, we go out for a lot of sponsors in the community, and the friends support that as well. But during the Winter Library Club, our friends are one of our first and foremost sponsors, and kind of one of our key sponsors for that club. So we're very appreciative of that, along with our own Flyleaf Bakery supported Winter Library Club, Funway, and a few other businesses in Batavia as well. I'm going to send around some pictures. I know I wasn't here last month, so I know you missed all show and tell, so I'll try to make up for it tonight. So we had middle school mystery night back again since 2019. We haven't done it in but everything closed like the weekend of middle school mystery night in 2020. So we haven't had it for a long time. So this group of students had a great time after hours in the library. And we had 4 fabulous teenagers helping us with it, who served as our team counselors or team leads that helped the middle school students play the live live game of Clue in the library, and went to different places in the library. So it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Yesterday, we hosted the final battle for the Battle of the Books in Batavia School District. I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know who won. Does anybody know who won? The team, I forgot to ask Amy, who was our host last night, was the question reader. But at one point, she texted me and said, there's over 100 people here for the battle. So it was a big night. It was very, very exciting. I know about that. I'm handing out some small flyers if you have young children or will have young children in your house over spring break. We have a lot of spring break activities going on, so feel free to take one home with you so you can bring them to games or bingo or anything like that. We have a lot of fun things happening at the end of the month. It's hard to believe spring break is almost here, which means Summer Reading Club is just around the corner. But we won't even talk about that tonight. Then I did want to mention, Daniel was right, I was going to mention Ruth, and I'll just send out, Hans did a very nice, just a few pictures of Ruth from her tenure here at the library. Ruth was here at Batavia Library when I came on board 25 years ago. Ruth preceded me by a couple of years, and really has been such a great proponent of children's services, programming. She was doing story times, our yarn and tale. She took over for our chess night. She and I put together our first late night at the libraries and middle school mystery nights back in the old library, back in the day. And Ruth wrestled with all of our junior volunteer applications every summer to get everybody in just the right spot. So, and she probably one of the biggest, we will miss her. I can't even imagine how much we are going to miss her. We're still, it's still kind of like, oh, trying to do things, and you always think, oh, Ruth's just on vacation, she's coming back. It's oftentimes when somebody retires and you think that, oh, they're just going to be back in a few minutes. But Ruth is our key proofreader in the Youth Services Department. So Kristen, I'm sorry to put a lot of pressure on you, but our key person is Dot. So Ruth was definitely that amongst a lot of other things. So we just, as Daniel, you wished Ruth well in her retirement. We do too, and we will certainly miss her. I understand, and I watched it on BATV. Stacy made a very nice presentation last month to you all on collection development and weeding. And Daniel asked if I would do something too, and it's hard to follow Stacy, so I'm glad you've had a month to think about Stacy's and maybe forget a little bit of it, or kind of let me walk in her shoes next. But I know there was a question that came up at the end of her presentation about, is youth services do pretty much the same thing for weeding? And we, yes, follow a very similar process. We have very specific criteria, procedures are very similar to what Stacy mentioned in hers. And we are also following our collection development plan. We do have a collection development plan that identifies every different area of the collection and youth services and what our criteria are for how long we're keeping items, while we look through items, what kind of dates should be on items, and how we're weeding them. Authors, we're going to constantly try to replenish their material if something gets damaged. And so we follow a very similar process. So Stacy did an excellent job kind of outlining that for you. So I won't go into any other detail with that, but certainly if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. What I was going to delve into is a suggestion by Daniel, which at first I was like, would anybody actually be interested in that? But I thought, well, we'll give it a whirl. So we're going to look at every month I put database statistics in my report. And it's not just the opportunity to fill up the page, but there really is some meaningful data in there. And so I thought I'd talk a little bit about the databases. You might be familiar with some of the adult databases. So the genealogy databases and some of the other ones. Maybe if you have older students, they're doing some of the Gale products, or some of the EBSCO products for school projects. We have tutor.com. So you might see some of those, but these are on my list are the ones that Youth Services pays for out of our budget. We find them, we contract with the database company, and then we vet them and keep them or don't keep them every year. So these are the ones that we're responsible for in our budget. So one of the criteria we have for developing looking for which databases we're looking at, we kind of tried to supplement the library collection. So we're looking for up-to-date information, accurate vetted information, not Google information, so it's not going to be Wikipedia or anything that's being quoted on. Things that fill a need from our collection. So it's when countries, the population of the United States changes, we're not necessarily going to get a new book every time that information comes out, or for every country. So this is up-to-date information, but it's also vetted and accurate information. It's great for school projects, and the databases that we put in our little package here that you're seeing are age appropriate. So they're not necessarily reading a scientific journal on the measles, they're reading appropriate information for their age. And I'll talk a little bit about that. I'm going to highlight a few things in some of the other databases. Amanda Vanderwerf, Youth Services Librarian, this is kind of her collection area that she works with. She's the one who contacts vendors and gets contracts for us and makes sure that the link are available on the website with Hans. So when she's looking at, we work together on it, but she takes the lead on the project. We're looking at what other libraries have. Do they have great suggestions? Do they have things that we're not offering? Are we offering a lot of the same things? She might even look at a big library. She might look at Chicago Public Library to see if there's something that they're offering that we're not aware of. She looks at especially what the libraries who serve our students in Batavia School District 101 have available to them. So what does Aurora and North Aurora and Geneva have? Do we duplicate those? It might depend on cost whether we duplicate. Some of them we will duplicate so that every child in Batavia School District would have access to those same databases. She's also looking at journals and reading reviews too on good products. So when we look at what Batavia offers, I'm going to just send out, I printed a few. They're not beautiful. I just kind of printed a few. So you have, if you've not seen some of these databases, you can take a look and get a sense of what some of them might be. Although the first one I did pick the really exotic food items that they give you. Nice. So you will see bugs on there and things like that. But I thought I was just being a little fun with that one. So some of the products that we offer, some of the databases, come in bundles, and I'll talk a little bit more about bundles in a minute. But the A to Z bundle that you see on my report, so my little chart is on the back of my report, so if I should have said that right from the get-go. So the A to Z bundle has historical information, current, very interesting. It's a very visual product. And there's a lot of information for adults too. So what we have found that the World Foods one that's in the A to Z World Food has a lot of great recipes that we're finding adults are looking at to just try something from different cultures. They enjoy that, or by different, one of the options you have is what ingredient do you want to use? And so if you want to use curry, so what's all the recipes in curry? So some of these databases are being also used by adults because of the interest of what's in there. The maps are fabulous. You might remember, I can remember back the Facts on File maps. You used to get these huge binders that we had in our reference collection. And every once in a while you'd have to get new maps because boundaries changed and things like that. And then if somebody wanted a project, you had to take the fax on file binder out and get the map out and photocopy it from. These maps are fabulous, and some of these things that children, we pull them up even when they're doing projects and they're coming in looking for books and they're looking for a map and the map of the book isn't quite so great. And we pull them up on there and they print beautifully and they're fabulous for projects or displays. So that's a really nice little bundle of databases. Ancient History and World Almanac end up being a bundled together. They also have great maps in there and a lot of facts from around the world. Book flicks, science flicks, you may know. So they're books that are either in video form or they're being read aloud. And obviously, like the title sounds, science flicks are science books, and book flicks are then nonfiction, are fiction books. Scholastic Teachables is something, and that's going around, it's the little St. Patrick's Day thing. It was something that we brought on board a few years ago. It became part of the bundle with book flicks and science flicks. And it is a great source for teachers, homeschoolers. We even use some of the information for our story times or our own programs. It has little lesson plans. It has printable material. That one on St. Patrick's Day had word ladder, teaching children how to use word ladders, changing the letters and creating different words. So many years ago, you might, a teacher might have come into the library and gotten, again, a soft consumable book, or you might have gone to the teacher's store, right, Kathy, and gotten a soft consumable book on all kinds of things that you could use in your classroom. And there's some of those left, but these consumables are really nice. People can print for free on those. Patrons who can log in with their library card and print those. Coloring sheets, all kinds of different fun things on specific topics that are more on the early elementary school and preschool. Tumble Books and Tumble Math, again, books, that's something that the schools have had for a long time, very heavily used. Tumble Math are books about math. Little Pim is the kids' version of Mango Languages. Adult, if you're learning language, adults offer Mango Languages as one of their databases. Little Pim is the children's version. They don't actually come bundled together, but I will say that language databases for children are hard to find. There's only a few. We had another one for a while called Muzzy, which was very much just listening to stories being told in a foreign language, and hopefully kind of by immersion, children were picking up language by hearing the language spoken. But Little Pin is a little bit more actually teaching words in language, and it's a better stepping stone to go into Mango Languages if they go into that. So there's some multi-age content, also, as I mentioned earlier, in Gale and EBSCO, Tutor.com. Those stats end up being with the adult reference stats because those packages are packages that Stacy contracts with. So when we're looking at our database statistics, we do review them and we look at no hits, and you'll see number of page views, document views, different databases, count things in different ways, and so we've tried to pick the thing that would be most consistent and best represent and be a good representative across the board and be similar in that. We do use the stats that we feel are most comparable then, whether it's a page view or a document view or a session. The numbers vary sometimes by, pretty obviously, time of year. So, as you would guess, July and August, not such a big time of year for databases. Everybody's outside. We go into November, and must have been a big project month with some of those hits that we were getting. In January and February, we try to promote the databases through our Winter Library Club. And that's one of the activities we encourage families to do. Cook something out of the A to Z world food and tell us what you cooked. Or look up a map in something. And so we try to promote these different databases. Tumble Books, you will notice, is one of the most popular. And I think one of the things is that they've had that in schools. It's a very easy-to-use database. But we do try to promote them also in the library. And of course, school projects, depending on what the school project might be. We might be directing students to there and to find the most appropriate information for them. One other thing about World Book I forgot to mention is you might think, well, why do we bother having an online encyclopedia? But this World Book volume, and you might have seen that on the sheets of paper, has a variety of levels. So for younger children, preschool and early elementary, then students, grades 5 and up. It has ebooks, and it has Spanish books, and it has timelines. So it has books in Spanish. So an article that comes up can come up in Spanish. So a Spanish language speaker could more easily access that information. So that is one of the reasons why we've chosen that one. For renewing, based on not only on how much a database is being used, we're looking at those numbers, but we're also looking at costs. Sometimes bundling, like I said, the A to Z databases, for us to pull one of those out, for us to pull out A to Z World Food of America, because it didn't get many hits this year, it's not cost effective for us to do that because it's part of a bundle. And so you're not going to save anything by us pulling that database out. So we may say, we'll hang on to that because it comes as a bundle. There's no real savings to us to pull some of those out. And because there is so much great information, we would not want to lose that bundle. That's a great package for us. The same thing goes with Little Pim. While that's maybe not used as heavily, it's a great stepping stone for Mango languages. So we're going to hang on to that as well. So we're going to keep them because of the bundle and because of what they might step up to in that. We do review databases every year as it comes up to budget. Amanda has them so that they renew all together pretty much in September of the year. But we talk about database stats a lot and say, well, what happened this month? And sometimes we know and sometimes we don't. But so, any questions? Or any other interest in databases? And I hope you found that a little informative.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You know, it's great to hear what a librarian sees in these numbers. You right away knew July and August, they're not doing projects and stuff, so I thought that was great. I do adult literacy tutoring, and so I think Scholastic Teachables would be very useful for that. That's really nice to know about. And, you know, helping us understand your financial decisions as well. That's really great. Maybe the most important thing, if I think of my assignment, my homework assignment after the library closes, I can still get into these databases from home.
And that is exactly right. You're right. These are available 24/7 from home with your Batavia library card. Perfect.
Thank you, Joanne. That was really interesting.
You're welcome.
I saved something for last, although I didn't realize how last it would be. But it's hard to follow Joanne. Last Saturday, the library once again participated in the Trivia Bee for Literacy, sponsored by Literacy Volunteers Fox Valley, which I think is the organization who we do tutoring for. And there were 22 teams that met at the new Revelry 675, the VFW property. And the library came in a tie for fourth with the Batavia Rotary Club, which I thought was somehow ironic. But we had a lot of fun. We've been doing this, the library is, the Friends have been funding the library's team every year since before I started here. So I think probably some 20 plus years the library's participated in this, and it goes for a good cause, and it gets some visibility for the Friends and the library, and we have a little fun with it. So, and this was all the tables had the desecration of vinyl records as the signs, so which were very cute. But that's the Beach Boys Surf and Safari, so it hurts me to see them.
Yeah, it does hurt.
Thank you, George. All right, moving along, number 12 is a future agenda item report, which you have. And then number 13, we need to go into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body as authorized by 5 ILCS 120/2C1.
I used to assure you you're dealing with the first two words, not the rest of them.
And I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Second by Andrew. Any discussion? All in, it's a roll call.
Shalata?
Aye.
Beechman?
Aye.
Ford?
Aye.
Hubbard? Aye. Larson? Russo?
Aye.
Fasano? Aye.
Okay. And with that, we'll go into closed session. I'd like to thank our visitors for coming today and see what we do. And when we come back from closed session, we're not expecting to take any action.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.